Hello, listeners, and welcome to today's Cult News segment. I'm your speaker, Casey, host of the Cult Vault podcast, and today is April the 8th. For this installment, I will be looking at the recent news of Donald J. Trump's indictment, giving an overview of why this is so significant today and why it links to cults and coercive control. There are some sources that I will reference today, including articles from the BBC, NBC, History.com, The New Yorker, Britannica, and the White House website, which I will list in the episode description. Donald J. Trump was born in Queens, New York in 1946. He inherited a real estate business from his father and expanded it into a multi-billion-dollar empire. He gained national recognition as a celebrity businessman and reality television personality, hosting the show The Apprentice from 2004 to 2015. Trump was also involved in politics before his presidency, including unsuccessfully seeking the Reform Party nomination for president in 2000 and promoting the conspiracy theory that President Barack Obama was not born in the United States. Donald Trump was inaugurated as the 45th President of the United States of America on January the 20th, 2017. During his presidency, he signed several significant pieces of legislation into law, according to the White House website, including a tax overhaul, criminal justice reform, and a repeal of the individual mandate of the Affordable Care Act. Trump's presidency was marked by controversy and division. He frequently clashed with the media, the judiciary, and members of Congress, often using Twitter to express his views and criticize his opponents. He also grew a loyal following, which included those associated with the QAnon movement. QAnon is a far-right conspiracy theory that began on anonymous online message boards in 2017. It claims that there is a deep state of powerful individuals, including politicians and celebrities, who are involved in a global child sex trafficking ring and other nefarious activities. The theory, which now pulls on almost every other conspiracy theory known to man to date, is centered around an anonymous figure known as Q, who claims to be a high-level government insider with access to classified information. QAnon has been linked to several real-world incidents, including the storming of the U.S. Capitol on January the 6th, 2021, and has been widely criticized for promoting baseless and dangerous conspiracy theories. QAnon believes Trump will be the person to bring down this so-called deep state and worships him as their figurehead. QAnon is now made up of hundreds of thousands of followers around the world. Trump's foreign policy was characterized by a more isolationist approach than previous presidents, and he withdrew the United States from several international agreements, including the Paris Climate Accord and the Iran nuclear deal. He also pursued a contentious trade policy, imposing tariffs on several countries and engaging in trade negotiations with China and other nations. Trump's presidency was marked by several high-profile crises, including the COVID-19 pandemic, which he initially downplayed but later declared a national emergency, and the nationwide protests against racial injustice following the killing of George Floyd. Trump lost his bid for re-election in 2020, and his presidency came to an end on January the 20th, 2021, when Joe Biden was inaugurated as the 46th President of the United States. Trump's presidency was one of the most controversial and divisive in American history, and his legacy continues to be debated and analyzed by political commentators and historians. Following this epic loss, Trump rallied his loyal supporters and encouraged them to take action against the, quote, election being stolen. On January the 6th, 2021, supporters of then-President Donald Trump stormed the United States Capitol building in an attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election, believing that it had in fact been stolen. Trump had been making baseless claims of voter fraud for weeks leading up to the event, and at the crescendo, rallied his followers to take the election back. The mob of Trump supporters broke through barricades, clashed with police officers, and vandalized and looted offices within the Capitol building. Members of Congress were forced to evacuate the building, and the certification of the Electoral College vote was delayed for several hours. The insurrection resulted in 5 deaths, including a Capitol police officer, and dozens of people injured. The event was widely condemned by politicians from both parties and drew widespread international attention. Following the insurrection, Trump was impeached by the House of Representatives for inciting the insurrection, making him the first U.S. president to be impeached twice. The Senate later acquitted him in a trial. Throughout Trump's career in office, there have been several attempts to take legal action against Trump. Some of those include the Mueller investigation, when special counsel Robert Mueller was appointed in 2017 to investigate Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election, including possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russian officials. While the investigation did not find evidence of collusion, it did lead to several indictments and guilty pleas from Trump associates, and Trump himself was investigated for possible obstruction of justice. The Ukraine scandal in 2019 saw Trump impeached by the House of Representatives for pressuring the Ukrainian government to investigate Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden in exchange for military aid. Trump was acquitted by the Senate. Trump has faced several civil lawsuits related to his business dealings, including allegations of fraud and sexual misconduct. He has also faced defamation lawsuits from individuals he is accused of lying about him. The New York Attorney General and Manhattan District Attorney have both investigated Trump's business dealings, including possible tax fraud and other financial crimes. But on Tuesday, the 4th of April, after being indicted, former President Donald J. Trump was brought before a judge in a historical moment of being charged with 34 felony counts, of which Trump pleaded not guilty. The crimes are linked to falsifying business records and paying adult film star Stormy Daniels a $130,000 sum days before winning the presidential race against Hillary Clinton in order to prevent Daniels from selling her story to the media of their affair. The BBC article states that it is unlikely the former president will serve any jail time if found guilty, and that this will most likely result in a fine. But there is a chance that Trump could serve up to 4 years for falsifying documents. This has never happened to another former president in history. That is an overview of Trump's early career, controversies, and QAnon. It is important to note, as Trump still uses various platforms and influence over the right-wing conspiracy group to rally support and encourage extremist behavior in the name of himself. That is the end of this Cult News segment. If you find this information interesting or helpful, please consider hitting the subscribe button and sharing the show with friends. Join me tomorrow for some more Cult News. I'm your speaker, Casey, host of the Cult Vault podcast.